What is going on, guys, and welcome to my new video. This video is going to be sort of a mini guide onto the new Beastmaster Durzag boss that has been released with Runescape raids. So just a quick disclaimer, I'm not claiming that this is the best way to kill the boss, but we have been getting successful kills with this method. And this is more of sort of an overview of the mechanics for people that haven't tried it or are struggling to deal with some of the mechanics. So I will jump into sort of the first part of the phase now. Okay, so before the kill starts, you're going to want to assign roles to people. You're going to need 2 main tanks to tank the boss and 2 minion tanks to tank the 2, well, there are 3 minions, but the 2 minions during the kill. 1 minion is weak to water spells and should be tanked by someone wearing Sea Singers, which is the Kra minion, and the other minion should be tanked by someone who is wearing Death Lotus with a range switch. Sirenic and Tectonic will also work well, and the magic minion that should be tanked by the ranger is called Tuz. So those are the roles. Everyone else should be DPS. Ideally they should have range and magic switches, but it's okay if they have one or the other. Okay, so I am one of the minion tanks, so you're going to see this kill from the perspective of the minion tank, but hopefully I'll be able to also provide a little bit of sort of help to anyone doing main tank and DPSing as well in this guide. So when we start the kill, you're going to want to split up into 4 different teams, 2 teams of 3 and 2 teams of 2. So we have 3 east, 3 west, 2 north and 2 south, with the first minion tank needs to be on the west side because that is where the first minion spawns. Now you need to prioritize charges and air routes, so everyone kills what comes out of their side. Now after the first air route spawns, there'll be 1 more charger that spawns on the west side, and then the minion is going to spawn, and it will attack with what style the minion tank is weak to. So because I'm wearing magic gear, it attacks with range. So once everyone has killed all the air routes and charges that have come out of their side, they should immediately come over to the first minion and Sunshine or Death Swiftness and Adrenaline Pot and do as much DPS on that minion as they can, but they shouldn't kill it. Now before you've killed that minion, another set of air routes and charges will spawn. As soon as that happens, everyone needs to get off the minion and start killing the air routes, but the minion tank can stay on the minion. Now it's important that you don't kill this minion until the boss spawns. So if you get it down to around 50,000 life points, just leave it as it is. As the minion tank, I would advise using Devotion and Praying Range, and then evoking it towards you once it's spawned. Now in this kill you see I use Onslaught, which is the new ultimate ability. Wasn't a good idea, so definitely Sunshine that. And then once the air routes spawn, I normally throw in a barricade because the air routes can do their special attack, and if they do the melee special attack, obviously you'll be praying range against the minion and they can hit you quite high. So I normally throw in a cade when the second wave of air routes spawns. Okay, so as the boss spawns, you're going to want to finish off that last minion, and all DPSs need to go south and all roles need to go north. So the 2 main tanks take the boss and then they walk it up and down the north wall, whilst the DPSs kill the chargers that are in the cages of the south wall. So the DPSs open the chargers one at a time and kill them. As the minion tank, I take the Kra minion, and the best way I've found to lure it is to freeze it with Ancients and then to provoke it, which means and then run to the corner. Now because it can't see me and it's frozen, it can't move towards me, which means it will teleport to me, as you can see here. Now as it teleports, it's going to stun you, so you're going to want to use Anticipate when you get to the corner and throw on your melee prayer, because it'll be in melee distance now. When the boss first spawns, make sure you're praying range, because that is what the Kra minion will attack with. Now it's exactly the same for if the other minion spawns. So if Tuz spawns, then the range minion tank needs to take that and do exactly the same thing, just lure it to one of the corners. At this point in time, the DPSs should be killing the minions on the east wall, and once that's done, the tanks can then lure the boss to the east wall and walk it up and down the east wall. This means that the 2 minions can be kept in opposite corners on the west wall, which you will see in this kill. So once all of the charges are dead, it's the DPS's time to get onto the minions. Now you want to DPS these minions as much as possible, so ultimates as soon as you can. And as the minion tank, you want to do your best to try and keep it in the corner. It will randomly teleport away at times, and at this point in time, I haven't figured out how to stop them doing that. But the best way seems to be to freeze it with ancients. So I do one ability and then one auto attack. So I'm basically constantly freezing it with ancients, and it seems to stay in the same place relatively frequently. So the DPS has come over an ultimate on the first minion that has spawned that should be lured in the corner, and at this point it's really useful if everyone who's DPSing just stuns the hell out of it, because it basically won't move, and it also won't really attack, so the minion tank can also do a bit of DPS. So definitely you want to just stun the hell out of the minion when you're DPSing it down. You want to DPS it down to about 150k. Around this point in time, the second minion should spawn, which will be lured to the other corner on the west side by the other minion tank. Once the first minion is 150k life points, it's the DPS's job to move over to the second minion and DPS that down to 150k life points as well. Now, the boss will spawn charges in cages throughout DPSing these minions, and the DPS roles should go and open those cages and kill the charges one by one, the same as with the charges on the side walls, so that you don't get overwhelmed. Now, the boss also has a special attack where it will throw bombs, and these bombs, it's very important that you defuse these bombs, and you do this just by left clicking them. And they basically follow each player around, and you have to defuse those bombs, because if they hit, they have area of effect damage, and each one will hit 2k. So if like 3 hit in the same area, you're going to get hit 6k. And they also reset defensive cooldowns, which is really, really bad for tanks, because they're basically going to get owned. Once all the minions are down to 150k life points, they should be in the corners on the west wall, and the boss should be being walked up and down the east wall. Everyone needs to get onto the boss and DPS it down to half life points, which is 750,000. Now, as the minion tank, you don't want to kill the minion too early. It has to be killed once the boss hits half life points. So do a bit of DPS, but make sure it doesn't get really any lower than like 10k or so. As soon as it hits 750,000, all DPSers should get off the boss, kill the minions. And then this is where it starts to get difficult, because the boss is very enraged once the minions have been killed. Okay, so this is the part of the kill that takes basically the most coordination from the whole team. So you need to have a Voke rotation, because the boss is very enraged now. It'll hit 10k's plus through prayer. You see one of our tanks get down because we messed up the rotation a little bit. So as you can see, one of our tanks is walking it at the moment, which is really, really good. So he had barricade up and also devotion, and then walked the boss, so he wasn't taking too much damage, or he wasn't taking any damage from the boss. When the boss starts to hit him, essentially what you need to do is have someone else Voke and barricade, and then they can either walk it, which I try and do here but fail miserably. So you can either walk it, or you can just stand still, build to devotion once your barricade runs out, and then you need to have someone else take the next vote. Now, it's really important that when you're taking the Vokes that you don't walk it into the rest of the team, because it has area of effect abilities, and it can hit everyone in the vicinity 10k. So when you're taking the Vokes, it's essential that you don't take it in the middle of the team. Like, you have to get close to the boss. The danger with this is that if you're close to the boss, it'll turn around and smack you before you can get your barricade off. So you got to sort of this is where TeamSpeak or Skype is very important, because you can communicate together basically. You can see those little bomb things that are coming out now. Those have to be diffused, because they will take your barricade and devotion off. A handy tip is, if your barricade and devotion has run out and no one is provoking the boss, surge away, and it should give you a little bit more time, and hopefully someone will Voke it off you. And what is the best way that we found to do it is to have so the 4 main tanks, so the 2 minion tanks and the two base tanks, always 100% adrenaline for the last phase, and then they rotate round in 4, using barricade and Barricade, and Devotion. And everyone else just DPSs the hell out of the boss. Sunshine, Adren Pots, all that good stuff. Alright, so hopefully this will help you get a successful kill for any teams that have been struggling with some of the mechanics, or with people who are wanting to get into the boss but not quite sure what to expect. It's not the most advanced guide because we are obviously still trying to figure out the best way to kill it, but I hope it helps. This kill, for anyone who's wondering, I think was around 7 minutes. I think it was 7 minutes 20 seconds, and we did actually get one of the tier 90 boot drops, which was really lucky for one of our teammates. I will try and bring out a more advanced guide for different roles when I'm just going to spend like the next couple of days learning how to kill this boss. So hopefully more advanced guides will follow in the future. Do give a like if it did help you out, and I will see you guys in the next one.